but it has gotten better around.
It's been over 2 years, countless trips crisscrossing the country, and hundreds of stories.
And it all started with a historic announcement.
I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Former President Donald Trump was the first official candidate to throw his hat in the ring for his second chance at the presidency.
Let's finish this job. I know we can.
A few months later, President Joe Biden would set the stage for a potential political rematch. Despite his criticism of former President Donald Trump, he said that's not the reason why he jumped in the race for a second term. He likely would have done so anyway.
But they weren't the only two candidates in the race.
The 7 candidates who will participate in Wednesday's presidential debate face a tall order. Not only are they trying to distinguish themselves from each other, but also position themselves as a Republican alternative to former President Donald Trump.
Trump did not participate in any of the 5 televised Republican debates. But even though he was not physically on stage, throughout the night, Trump's shadow lingered over this debate.
I'm saying, do I sit there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever it's going to be, and get harassed by people that shouldn't even be running for president?
Biden, without a challenger for the Democratic ticket, juggled presidential duties with his campaign.
Many of you in this chamber and my predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you take away?
After Super Tuesday, the dust settled on the Republican Party. Trump was the presumptive nominee.
We now officially have a presidential rematch on our hands between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Trump continued campaigning amid court schedules in several ongoing legal proceedings and was convicted of criminal charges in May for hush money payouts.
We now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy.
In June, Biden and Trump came face to face.
Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
On social media, Republicans and even some Democrats expressed concern about Biden's debate performance.
President Joe Biden kicked off one of the most consequential days of his long political career, attempting to vanquish doubts about his ability at the age of 81 to serve 4 more years.
Then a little over 2 weeks later,
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
it was the first of 2 failed assassination attempts on former President Trump. The July attempt on Trump swelled support for the Republican candidate leading into the RNC. With Senator J.D. Vance officially on the ticket, Trump formally accepted his party's nomination for the 3rd time. But for Democrats, the future was uncertain. Will President Joe Biden be his competitor in November? We'll be heading to the Democratic National Convention next to find out. And then a whirlwind change.
It's been a big week for Vice President Kamala Harris. Since President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign on Sunday and endorsed her,
the new ticket headed to Chicago for the DNC.
You see those lights all the way up there? They are the lights that are powering our live shot setup here at the tippy top of the United Center, where we will be parked all week long with literally a bird's eye view of the convention.
Harris aimed to reintroduce herself as candidate for president.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
After she gave her speech, the balloon dropped. There were tears of joy.
Shortly after, the new competitors met. This could be the only time Harris and Trump debate each other before Election Day on November 5th.
A prophecy that proved true when Trump refused to debate Harris a second time. In Philadelphia,
In Houston, in Washington.
Even though it's minus 17 degrees with a rally in Pennsylvania. As the final weeks of campaigning ticked down and early voting opened, candidates continued their appeal to voters, and our team continued our coverage.
This is dinner on the campaign trail. Cotton candy.
Time is starting to blur at this point in the campaign.
in Mankato, Minnesota,
Reporting in Pittsburgh.
in Washington,
In Big Rapids, Michigan.
in Houston,
Reporting in Aurora, Colorado. Taylor Popolars, Spectrum News.
in Phoenix, Arizona. Cassie Simeon, Spectrum News.